welcome to the channel. This is Nerd World, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy. And in this one, Star Trek returning to my favourite, the Mirror Universe, and the Warrior Races series as well, as you probably know because you've clicked on the icon. This episode, I should point out, is brought to you in collaboration with the Beard Struggle. And we'll get to them a little bit later in the video. But for now, please like, share, subscribe and comment down below. Tell me all the things that you think are fantastic about the Terran Empire. The Terrans are a race of humans from an alternate reality with a subtly different history. Biologically identical to humans in the Prime universe, aside from a minor chromosomal difference that makes them a little more sensitive to light and probably gives them slightly better night vision. Terrans, as another distinction of their culture, are distinctly more aggressive than their Prime universe counterparts, a civilization much more willing to endure hardship, violence and destruction, and have a gleeful willingness to inflict it upon others. Arrogant, aggressive, savage, barbaric, these are all words used to describe Terrans, and all of them are accurate. To different levels, different Terrans have different ambitions in life, and those who are the most aggressive, most ambitious, tend to rise to the top, from the Emperor through her Senate or his Senate, and through Starfleet. In the Terrans universe, Starfleet or Imperial Starfleet is the military wing of the Terran Empire. When humanity crawled out of its internal barbarism after the Third World War and had first contact with an alien civilization, they embraced that first contact by killing the first non-Terrans to arrive on their planet, seizing their ships, stealing their technology, and then finding out where they lived and went there and conquered them. This began a centuries-long campaign of expansion, cruelty, oppression and brutality, with Terrans resorting to levels of sadism and cruelty, from everything from creating the agony booth designed to create pain on an unimaginable level but keep you conscious, while constantly shifting the pain to different nerve clusters to prevent you becoming accustomed to it, to acts of genocide and even cannibalism against other sentient races. The Terrans had no depth that they were not willing to stem to. In addition to this, their embrace of all things technological was also apparent in their technology. Like other humans, they have a knack for engineering and a good head for exploiting it. The difference is application. Terrans are interested in faster ships with bigger guns and thicker hull armor. Anything that gives them a tactical advantage is of interest to them. Terran ships were naturally more heavily armoured and structurally better built than those of the so-called Prime universe. Although many ships were similar in geometry, their underlying technology was quite different. Reliability of some Terran technology was not quite as good, but in a military context, in a fight, a Terran ship would always have the edge. It was significantly more heavily armed with more powerful weapons, better shields and thicker hull plating. The Terrans themselves would fight more aggressively and were more quick to resort to what the Federation might call diplomacy at the barrel of a phaser. The difference is the Terrans just removed the diplomacy part altogether. They conquered hundreds of species, and in the same amount of time that the Federation had expanded to a small portion of the Alpha and Beta Quadrant, the Terran Empire was at least 50% larger, with probably twice as many member states, although those member states were not exactly willing member states of the Terran Empire. Races that the Terrans conquered would be integrated into their society as either a worker class, a slave class, or some other variant, with particularly privileged members of them sometimes even getting to join Starfleet and even ascending to high ranks within it, although they were often treated with racism and disdain by Terrans. The Terran Empire embraced an autocracy. They had a royal family, sort of, although imperial lines could sometimes change, and they were absolutists. The Emperor had absolute authority, tracing its origins all the way back to the ancient Roman Empire. The Terrans, as a result of this, had a pure mindset. Whatever the Emperor wanted, the Emperor got, and the Emperor wanted usually a bigger empire. The Terrans viewed all other non-Terrans as inferior, or a threat. If you were a threat, you were destroyed. If you were inferior, you were conquered. If you were strong enough to oppose them, that didn't gain you their respect, just their contempt, and they would eventually find a way to destroy you. The Terran Empire's only weakness were the Terrans themselves, and the general penchant for infighting. Terrans, different divisions of the army, different divisions of the navy, would often go to conflict with each other over supremacy and power, and supporting whichever political ally they had that they wanted to reach perhaps the rule of emperor, such as individuals like Lorca, who garnered quite a following within the Empire, not just within Starfleet, but within political and even civilian circles. So comfortable enough that he could even take refuge on civilian colonies, knowing that those colonial leaders and civilians would back him and help him, render medical and technical aid to his personnel and ships. Now, the Terrans, as I said, were a violent and barbaric people, as were the Vikings, and I should point out the Vikings had lovely glorious beards, much like mine. That's a bit of a mess right now. But if yours is a mess and you want to find a way to make it better, you go to the beard struggle. And I am not just saying this because, obviously, sponsorship, but I genuinely use their products. I began promoting them because I began using their products and developed a working relationship with them. Their products are great. They are glorious. They provide tutorials on how to best use their products or anyone else's. The best way to tend to your beard, how to grow it thicker, how to grow it longer, how to maintain it. Products you can put in at night, products to wear during the day to protect it from UV, to help fortify it, strengthen it, and generally make it really badass, just like an Ancient Viking video also on that. Their adverts, really funny. Hopefully I've got one either behind me or below me or somewhere. There is one up right now, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. I decide when I'm editing it and how long this bit's going to be, and I'm rambling. If you click on the link in the description below, it'll take you to the Beard Struggles website. Now, only if you follow this website, I should point out, you will get a 15% discount off your first purchase. If you follow the link below. If you just go to the website, you obviously won't get that. So follow the link below, see what they got. If you don't like it, you can always leave the website again. What's the harm? But if you're thinking about growing a beard or already have a beard that you think can be even more epic, check them out, seriously, they're awesome. And now, back to the Terrans, who are also awesome, which is why I have their emblem emblazoned upon my skin. Long live the Empire. Where was I? Now, yes. Now, the Terrans, as I said, their biggest weakness was their infighting. And I'm getting back to the royal family. As we see with Empress Georgiou, her own daughter turned on her because Terrans see advancement and the achievement of power and the acquisition of wealth and greatness as the fulfillment. It's the Terran dream. And Burnham, her adopted daughter of the Empress, saw an opportunity for advancement in her personal life by getting into a sexual relationship with Lorca, but also to become, perhaps, long-term, the next Empress. If she perhaps bumped off Lorca, who wanted to be the next Emperor, she would be the next Empress. But she was also Lorca's step into the Imperial family for recognition. Simply taking over wouldn't be enough. The Senate could still turn on him. Starfleet would still have to support him. If he didn't have the support of the military, he was dead. Now, it's sometimes a little two-dimensional to show the Terrans as just infighting rebels, but no, that's not what they are. There's subtlety to their culture. You have to have a justifiable reason to do what you do. Now, it doesn't have to be a big rationale, but you definitely have to be able to rationalize why you've turned on your superior officer, why it is that you killed your captain, why it is you want to replace the Emperor. It's not just a case of, I've got a bigger gun than you, so I'm going to do it. Yes, you might be able to force the person you're pointing the gun at to do it, but the rest of the Empire coming for you, dude, it's over for you. The Terrans embrace a cultural philosophy of the strong always rule. If an emperor is weak, the emperor is to be replaced. This happened in the 22nd century with Hoshi Sato, who replaced her weaker commanding officer, Commander Jonathan Archer, who had tried to replace his much stronger captain, Captain Forrest, only to be again himself replaced by his subordinate Hoshi Sato, who was a stronger character, a stronger person, and she was able to achieve what he wanted. She became emperor. This is because the imperial line had become a little inbred, most likely by this point, and flesh, blood was what was needed, and they got it. And although it's never been explicitly specified, was Hoshi Sato the ancestor of Empress Georgiou? We don't know. Could have been, probably not, but they could have been. Anyway, the royal line again came into question in the 23rd century. This also saw the beginning of the decline of the empire, but that's another video. The Terrans, even after the fall of their empire, however, right the way into the 24th century, would remain the badass warriors, rebels, pirates, smugglers, killers, mercenaries, and whatever was left of Starfleet became a cannon fodder military wing of the Alliance. They would always find a reason to fight. Terrans were violent and aggressive people that loved a good brawl. All fists and phasers against the wall. There's nothing the Terrans loved more than a good brawl. So there we have them. The Terrans of the Mirror Universe. Humanity at its worst and its most aggressive, its most savage, its most barbaric. Guilty of countless acts of genocide. Deaths of billions, entire civilizations wiped out, planets destroyed, stars collapsed, empires fall before them. And my god, are they great. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below, tell me how great they are, if they think they're a bag of tools, and that the Federation is the way to go, because, you know, you like Vulcans or something, I don't know. Live long and prosper. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and bye bye.